Today I'm repairing the roof on my porch. Hi everybody, I'm Jim Dirdorf and this is Detroit DIY. So let's take a look at what we got going here. I had these panels that I selected. The sun can shine through them, but they're tinted. And here's what we got right here. The problem is when you tighten the screw and it puts a little dent in the panel, and the water can get through. So I've removed all the panels, I've got all the screws off, but I have some wood damage I need to take care of. And we're going to highlight a little bit of this wood repair that we're going to do. So here's what it looks like now. And as you can see, some of the wood, like right here, and here has some water damage. This one had so much water damage that I took it right out of there by hand. And I also have one main joist right here that is really bowed, so I'm going to pull that out and replace it completely. And then as you can see, I have more water damage here, so I have to replace several of them. So we're going to highlight replacing this, getting it loose from there, and getting it loose from the hanger here on the back of the wall off the ledger board. And we're also going to highlight the fascia board because I have some issues here with the fascia board. Even though the correct nails were used, it's twisting and warping and does not want to stay attached. So I'm going to put some fillers in here. So we're going to highlight some of this repair, and hope you enjoy. So what I'm going to need to do is cut these nails right through here. So now the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Now I need to go ahead and remove all of them all the way down so that I can get this out of here. So I'll get them out and then I'll show you how we're going to get it loose from that hanger right there. I've got all the bridging removed, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is get this plate removed from the joist itself. And it doesn't matter if I have to replace it or not. So whichever part wants to come loose. The hanger nails have a pretty good grip. Something like that. Slowly but surely we'll get it off of there. There it is. We got that off. Now we're going to go over here and we're just going to cut the joist about a foot out or so. Take it out of there and then deal with that hanger. Both of them I will replace with new hangers, so it'll get a brand new one. We're ready to cut this out. Oliver here has decided this is become his chair. He's my helper, even though he's just having a nap. He thinks he's helping. So as soon as I can get up the ladder here, we're going to cut it about right here. Now, I won't be able to cut it through all the way because I have to have both hands. So here we go. So this is what we're left with to take off of here. So I'm just going to try and work it loose a little bit. Then I'll get behind it with the pry bar. And get it the rest of the way off. There we go. Now I just have those nails to deal with. So we're good. I might not even have to replace the hanger. I got the nails out. They fought me a little bit, but believe it or not, the hanger received no damage whatsoever, so I'll be able to reuse that. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut out whatever bridging is questionable so that I can get ready to replace that. And I'll cut that out the same way that I cut the bridging out over here that we already filmed. I just got back from the store. I got my lumber. Now I need to get my cuts laid out for my angles. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Now because we're focusing on replacing and not new, I'm going to just focus on that and how I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is figure out how to get you set up here. This is my old one. And I need to cut that angle so that it goes tight against the house. It has the pitch that it needs, and then it's plumb at the other end. So I'm going to use this angle finder right here. And this is going to do both ends, and this angle will also do the bird's mouth. So I'm going to set that on here, and just like that, I'm going to get that angle. Just like that. Tighten this thumb screw up so that my angle doesn't move. And now I'm going to go ahead and lay that out on here just like this. So I've already got my measurement on here. Now I just need a line just like that. So now I know that from the top of this, my bird's mouth is 1 1/4 inches, 1 foot 1 1/4 inches back. So that would be the start of my bird's mouth right there. My bird's mouth is 3/4 of an inch deep. Now I'm going to use this same angle, just like this, to cut my bird's mouth. Here is the layout of the bird's mouth, all marked out on there. Hopefully Oliver can be quiet for a minute so we can finish this. So I need to cut it here. I need to cut this out. Then I'm going to flip it around and cut the other end. So there it is, one bird's mouth and our end. So here's my mark on here, same as the other. Oh, it might be a little too dark to see. Same as the other side, same angle. Get that cut, we're ready to put it up. Okay, I'm going to put this end in first, and then I'm going to lift it up into the hanger. Something just like that. And just like that. So I'll get some nails, get that nailed in. First I want to check and make sure that I'm flush with my other joists that are sticking out, and I'll show you that. Alright, we're up here on the ladder. We are good across the top. The depth of the bird mouth is good, and we are good across the front. So we are good to nail this in. Now I have a new hurricane tie to put here, or maybe on the other side. I'm not just sure yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put some new bridging in and firm this thing up a little bit before I install that. I'm ready to nail this into the hanger. So here's our hanger right here, and I have some galvanized 3.5 inch 16D nails, and they will go right into the little cutouts on the side of the hanger. So there'll be 4 nails, 2 on this side, and then the 2 on this side are slightly offset so the nails don't run into each other. So I'm going to get them nailed in, and we're just about done. It's all nailed in, the 4 nails are in. So I also wanted to state that before you make the cuts on these boards, you want to check them for crown, and if there is any crown in the board, always put the crown up, or cut your angles here so that the crown is up. That way, as the weight gets put on it, it will actually flatten itself out some instead of dip down. This is what I mean by crown up. As you can see, I'm flush here and I'm flush here, and I have a gap here. So my new board is crowned up a little bit higher than the others, but that's okay. It's what we want when the load gets on it. As you can see, just from me pushing on it, I'm pushing it back down where it needs to be. I've got all my bridging in, and now I'm ready to get this rafter tie nailed in. Now, I know you've heard me call these joists, and the reason I'm calling them joists is because they're a single board. They're not truly a rafter, because a rafter is a homemade truss, and they're not a truss because they're not an engineered structure. So I've got all my bridging in. I still have about 7 more pieces to replace or so. Some to cut out and replace. So for this rafter tie, we're going to use Simpson strong tie hanger nails to attach it in place. And the reason I wanted to get these in first is so this wouldn't be so bouncy trying to put nails in it. That's all there is to it. So one of the nails won't go in. I think it's hitting a screw head that's in the back side, but that's okay. It won't go anywhere. So now the other thing I wanted to highlight in this video is how I'm going to get this fascia board to stay in place. Even though I used the serrated nails and the good nails, it just didn't want to stay in place. So I'm going to cut some 2x6s and bridge in between them the whole way down, and then I'm going to put my fascia board on top of that. It'll give me more places to fasten it, and it'll be more secure, and it won't move. So I think that's why I have some of the leaks that I have in the first place, is because things have shifted. The lumber was wet, pressure treated lumber when I built it, and the plastic corrugated strips that go on top to set the corrugated panels were all broke to pieces. So I know that things moved around. So I think that's why the screws started leaking in the first place. So I'm going to get a couple of them cut, and we'll show you how I'm going to get them in. So this is what I mean by I'm going to box these in, each one of these, and then I'm going to put my fascia board on top, and it'll give me more area to fasten to. I'm going to use 3-inch decking screws to hold these in place. And the reason I'm not down there on the ladder is because of the tree. Just like that. I'll finish boxing these in, and then we'll get that fascia board on. Quick little pro tip for you. When I'm putting these in on the rafters, the first one I could screw from both ends on the outside. All the rest of them I can only screw from one end on the outside. The rest of them have to be toe-nailed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drilling right here in the center of the board. Then I'm going to angle my drill like so. Just like that. Now I know that my screws are going to come out right in the center of the board. So now, as you can see, I have a multitude of places to put screws. I'm not just dependent on the end grain of the joist holding this up. So let's get this set down there. Get the ends lined up. And I am going to screw this on. So now I'm going to get a screw on the other end, and then I'll just go ahead and screw the whole face. Alright, I'm going to finish screwing that on. I'm going to come back and show you a little bit of what I'm going to do to help seal the corrugated panels when I put them back on, as far as the screws not leaking. And then that's going to be a wrap. Pretty much covered everything we wanted to for this video. I would probably feel better if I could get the correct screws to secure them. The screws you get at Home Depot are not truly screws for polycarbonate panels, although they sell the panels. And the same thing at Lowe's. There are some specialty screws, but due to everything going on in the country today, it's a little hard to get a hold of exactly what you need. So I siliconed around the tops of the screws, put a little silicone in before I put the screw in, and it is a rubber washer screw, so we'll see how it does. But everything that's, all the new bridging is in, everything is complete. This is the board that I highlighted in the replacement right here. It's all good. And then of course the fascia board was the other thing that I wanted to highlight. That is complete and looking good. So I'm really happy with how everything turned out. We had a little rainstorm the other day and it didn't leak, so we'll just wait and see. How that goes. But I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed yourself, click on one of these two videos that are going to pop up right here. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Tony Iaconelli and Brett Wimmer, because none of this could happen without them.